if you're going to 3 different warehouses, you can have 3 boxes sitting here beside you, tag them and drop them as you're going.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there's no 30-day free trial, man. I want to give it a shot tomorrow, probably. Just did my first FBA shipments today, fellas. Wish me luck.
Sweet. How many did you ship off?
I did 2 shipments, and I don't know, it's probably 40, 50 units, something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a trip.
All right, so we got Brock, man. He's joining us tonight. He hasn't been on one of these hangouts. How's it going, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Got a fellow Texan. I'm in Dallas. John's in he's on Fort Worth side. You're down there in Austin, huh?
Yep.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, so he knows a lot about selling video games on. Do you sell it just on Amazon or is it eBay too?
Almost all Amazon through FBA, and then I do Craigslist as well, and I'll do eBay just a little bit. Some of like if you're dealing with like something like real high end or collectors, where it's more of a collector, it's gonna make more money going on eBay.
Okay. So I mean, I'll tell you kind of how I've done video games. Like I've maybe sold about 10 games. Like I found a GoldenEye at a garage sale once, N64, and I was surprised, man. I picked it up for $2 and it sold on Amazon for 20.
Yep. Probably sold right away too.
Yeah, it sold I think within 2 hours, man. It was pretty quick. But I've also bought some games off eBay too. I just try to get in at the last minute and get a good deal on them. I mean, is that what you do? Do you buy on eBay or Craigslist or?
Almost all of my video games come from garage sales. So a lot of times, so I do a ton of garage sales. We're Texans, so we can garage sale year round. But normally that's something I hunt for. I always ask if they have small Legos or if they have maybe older video games. And then, so getting inside people's houses at garage sales and actually figuring out if they've got any old video games. That's where most of mine come from. And then the other thing, especially like towards the end of the summer months and like over the winter when the pawn shops are closed or doing slow business, I'll go in there and try to get a big lot from them on video games. But pawn shops and garage sales mostly. I've done eBay just a couple times. It was kind of more of an accident where I was going on eBay for something else. I'm like, oh, that's drastically underpriced, and I bought it real quick before anybody else could.
Oh, nice. We were actually having a hangout the other night. It wasn't live, but we were actually talking about pawn shops. Like I was thinking about going and buying some video games at a pawn shop. Like, how do you go about it? Do you hackle them down or what?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I was actually, Mike was messaging me today. I was on answering because I was in a pawn shop, and I think everything started off like I think asking price was like 160, and I went down. I think I offered him like half of that, and then we just ended up at 105, and then they ate the sales tax. So you just kind of got to go back and forth, and they're used to it. And honestly, like if you're nice to them, you're going to do so much better. They get a lot of crummy clientele in pawn shops, unfortunately. So just being nice goes a long way, and having cash.
Yeah, I mean, because if anybody wants shelf space, it's a pawn shop, you know.
Yeah, well, that's what's important. My best deals from pawn shops come from the title loan places, where you're taking the title to your car and you get a $1,000 loan on it, and they make interest on you, and then that's where their money comes from, is loaning out money and making money on the interest. That's where they want to make their money. They don't want to have stuff on their shelves. They want to blow it out.
So usually when you go into a pawn shop, are you just like, hey, I'll take all of these games for, so and so?
Yeah, I try to let them. That's what I did today. If I take all these, what can you do? And just kind of let them throw out a price. I'll try to get them out the door. Out the door is the code for including sales tax.
Okay. Yeah, I want to go try that. I like the pawn shop across the street from my job. They have like 30 PS3 games, and they're about $8 a piece. So, I mean, like, What do you hit them with? Let's just say, for instance, I have those 30 games at $8 a piece. Like, if I was going to walk in there and hit them with something, like, what would I say?
Probably with the PS3 games, probably 28 of them are junk, not worth $8. So you'd have to go through and find the good ones, and I would just ask them, hey, if I buy a couple, would you guys do 2 for 10 or something like that? It kind of takes, honestly, like the best thing with pawn shops, they got real short-term memory. Best thing to do if you want to get into pawn shops, just go to one like maybe outside your town or something, and then just go in there, and it can be kind of a train wreck the first time you go in and negotiate, but kind of learn what they're going for, and you can learn like what they need to do. Because some pawn shops, they got it like I swear they the Amazon price and the eBay price, and they add them together, and that's what they price it at. Like this pawn shop, they had stuff today I can sell at FBA for $35, and they had it marked 70. Like it's never gonna happen in a million years. But yeah, it's just not gonna happen. So you gotta kind of learn it. But yeah, the best thing to do is just ask them like, hey, I want a couple of these. What can you do? I'm always amazed. Like I've had people drop the price in half.
And are you looking at electronics as well? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you want to keep an eye out. Anything big and bulky that they're not going to hold on to, like your Bose speakers or DVD recorders, that sort of thing. That stuff's nice because you can quick take a look on your phone. And I'm on my phone the whole time I'm in the pawn shop. It's not a secret what I'm in there for. I normally tell them I'm a wholesaler if they ask. Honestly, 99% of the time they do not care what I'm doing with it. They just care about getting money. Pawn shops are great like that. They don't ask questions.
So, Mike was telling me a little bit. You sell on Craigslist too, or do you do a lot of sales through that?
I do. Yeah, it's actually. I don't. I source all cash. I don't use a credit card to source with. So one of the ways that we help regulate cash flow is when we get consoles and video games both, we'll sell the console on Craigslist, and that'll get all my money back. And then so that my consoles do really, really well here on Craigslist, and it's easier because shipping a console is going to cost you $10-12, something like that. So it's a really easy way to do it on Craigslist. But everything else I try to send to FBA. All the games, controllers, anything like that.
Sweet. That's awesome. Any of the other guys hanging out? You guys have any questions about any of that for him? You guys are curious about anything?
Saw somebody had some Halo there.
Oh, Scott's showing his finds.
Those Halo games for the Xbox, a lot of them they're not worth it. They're like $10 to $12 FBA, but they're gonna start selling as soon as they check.
Those are the special editions. They were $20 each.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't get a good look. That's a whole other ball game then. What are those? What are those worth? Did you scan them?
Yeah, Amazon's $49.99.
Awesome. Yeah.
Where'd you get? A Walmart somewhere. I don't know where I'm at. Raleigh somewhere. Oh, you're on the road.
Awesome. So, yeah, you'll see. Like, if you start scanning, the best thing to do is just to go into a pawn shop or any of your thrift stores. That way you can scan a whole bunch of games, and it kind of gives you an idea. I always tell people, like the Halo, anything rated M, which is the R for video games. They have rated M instead of rated R. Anything that's like action, wizards, what's called role playing, like swords, that sort of thing. The Halo games, those action games, those are the ones that have a tendency to be worth money. You can go through and scan a whole bunch, and that kind of gives you an idea of what you're looking for. And then you can go in and find brand new sealed games. Those games are old that he found too. He found for $20. That was a good deal.
What would you say is a better source, at the thrift stores or pawn shops?
Pawn shops. Pawn shops are super consistent. They're pretty much always going to have games. But the problem with thrift stores, there's one other guy. There's like 10 other guys here that do video games, and more than a few times at the thrift stores, like his hand reached for the games as my hand reached for the games. So there's lots of competition. Some of us come and clean it out. So that was a pretty funny moment because I reached out. I forget what it was, but it was Ogre Battles for the 64. As soon as I listed it on eBay because I wanted to flip it fast. It sold for $50 as soon as I listed it, just to give you an idea. And it was $2.99. So it was just hanging up in a little bag at Savers, and I grabbed for it, and I just got it like a tenth of a second before he did. So he laughed. He shook my hand, actually. It was pretty funny. So he's a good sport about it.
Now, do you, when you listen on Amazon, is it any of these games, do you make any bundles for any of these games?
Not really. There's a couple of them. There's a couple of the Wii games that are already, the bundles have already been created. It's like, I forget which one. It's like a Wii with the controller, like GoldenEye. There's GoldenEye with the special gold controller. There's a couple of them. Mostly what I'm trying to do on Amazon is trying to get it in and out as quickly as I can, because the turnover rate on video games is just insane. But mostly what I look for is the highest reviews. You're going to see a bunch, like if you go to look GoldenEye for the 64, there'll be like 4 listings because people have created their own listings, which you're not supposed to do, and they look terrible and they've got typos in them. So I always tell people, look for the listing with the most reviews. That's typically going to be the one you want to be on, because you got to be careful, because guys have video games listed in bull sense. And there's a couple like Pokemon for the Game Boy. A lot of those games are restricted because they were just counterfeit like crazy. So there's like Pokemon listings in like grocery and all sorts of weird places. Don't use those. You'll join the long list of people recently suspended from Amazon.
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot. Just and
Are you putting yourself more at risk when you're selling those types of games for being suspended?
Absolutely, yeah. Pokemon Game Boy games are pretty much the biggest thing that you got to worry about. And the other thing that you'll see, we see it at the flea market here, where somebody has made bootleg copies of games. It's honestly, it's pretty obvious. Like, if you look at it, it looks kind of like it's blurred. The cases look blurry. That's the best way I can think to describe it. And then the discs look blurry. You're gonna know pretty quickly if you've got a bootleg. They're pretty bad, most of them.
Yeah, I mean, just flipping it upside down and looking at the disc, you can pretty much tell also if it's just copied.
What kind of condition, if you send them in for fulfillment, what kind of condition would you list it under?
Just
most of these,
like what I list most games at, or
yeah, on the average, like most games that you're picking up at the pawn shops and stuff like that.
90% of the time I do acceptable. It's anytime technically under Amazon's rules, if you're going to do the cartridge games like the Nintendo 64, and you just have the game cartridge, that technically should be listed as acceptable. If you look through most of the sellers and Amazon, they're not following that rule. I do typically, because on Amazon it doesn't hurt me, honestly, to list it as acceptable.
So that covers everything, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just just list it as acceptable, cosmetic wear, game only. That's fine. And I'll send in like the CD games. I'll send those in just the discs. I'll put them in a generic case. That's fine to do. You just need to denote in the description, game only, cosmetic wear, scratches, what have you. But I send in game with scratches, just because I go through and test everything first. 95% of games are going to have scratches, unless you go to Walmart and they have, brand new games for you. So, but most of them have scratches. That's nothing to get concerned about.
That's not a good product, Supermax Pump. It's not good at all.
I mean, do you have a game system for each one of these that you just tested out? Or?
Yeah, that's probably the longest thing that took forever. I slowly but surely, over a couple months of garage selling, when I got started, I just got an Xbox, then I got a Wii, then I got a Nintendo 64, then I got a Super Nintendo. But yeah, it's a little bit time consuming to pick those all up. You can sell games on eBay untested. I do that. If I get some obscure game like from a system I don't have, you can sell them untested on eBay. That's not going to be, that's not at all uncommon. Guys know what you're talking about. You can just put, untested. Contact me if there's an issue. I've done that.
Don't you get a higher price though on Amazon?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're if it's $20 on eBay, it's going to be like $30-32 on FBA a lot of the time. It's a huge margin difference.
Can you put untested on Amazon, or is that just for eBay?
You can, but only once. So
Okay.
don't do Yeah, don't do that on Amazon. You're gonna see that sometimes. No, that's completely and totally wrong. That's a slam dunk. If that customer opens an A to Z case on you, you're done. You're done for. You're losing that case. You're getting a negative feedback. Yeah, sell your untested games on eBay. Sell them on Craigslist, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's gonna see, like, if you start getting into video games, you're gonna see randomly, like, if everybody's at $40, there'll be one person at 30, and you'll think, like, what the heck? Oh, that guy's untested. Yeah, that's wrong. You're asking for problems.
Okay.
But I mean, say most of us don't have all those systems. So I mean, just put acceptable, and if they say the game doesn't play, then refund them or what?
On eBay, yeah, that's what I would do. Just have them send it back to you.
No, I mean like on Amazon. If you
No, don't do it. I was joking when I said you would only. I said you could only sell them untested once because they were gonna. I was being sarcastic. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna get in trouble with Amazon if you sell untested games. So yeah, untested games, sell them on eBay.
Well, thank God that GoldenEye, was good because, yeah, I picked it up in that day. I listed it and sold it on Amazon.
All worked out. Is there a better profit margin on the used video games as opposed to the new ones?
A lot of times, yeah, especially if you're getting them garage sales. If you're getting, like, most of my garage sale games are $1 to $5. I've gotten games, occasionally you'll roll up and it's like a 1995 deal at this garage sale and everything's 25 cents. And then you can just get a big stack of games for, $5. So yeah, there's pretty huge margins on old games when you're getting them at garage sales. The newer games are kind of tough. Normally if you go, like, if Walmart or Target clearances it, then you're competing, you're racing to the bottom pretty quickly because everybody's Target and Walmart are.
So the key to these video games is buy the used ones.
Yep, buy the used ones, and yeah, there's definitely good money in PlayStation, but the old Nintendo, it sells so fast. And that's what I've told, like, anybody, like, the reason I sell Nintendo is not for the fun of it. It's because the margins are humongous, and the turnover rate on games is insane. I don't have numbers from this year yet, but last year we had a 98% sell-through rate on video games, and that was hundreds of games. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, the demand is insane. I'm sure, I don't know, I predict another couple years the bubble will burst as everything's switching over from, like, hard, like, physical games to digital copy, but for right now I'm going to ride it till it breaks, so we'll see.
Yeah, I found a few, like, PlayStation 1 games at like $50, man. You wouldn't think an old PlayStation game would be worth anything, but man.
Yeah, the PlayStation games, if you go out and scan 100 PlayStation games, 97 of them will be worthless, but PlayStation games have a really, really strong following. Those PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 games. I think there's 1,500, I might be a little bit off, about 1,500 PlayStation 1 games. So lots and lots of people out there trying to collect all of the PlayStation 1 games. The games that were underproduced are now $50, like you saw. And especially, you're looking, you know what anime looks like the Japanese cartoons? Those games have a tendency to be worth crazy, crazy money.
Yeah. Yeah, the disc and stuff, that scares me, but like the old Nintendo games, it's pretty much protected, Most of those games are going to work, it doesn't matter, Maybe all you have to used to do is blow in the thing and it'd work,
Yep, feel the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, I very rarely do find a Nintendo game that doesn't work. PlayStation games, original Xbox, yeah, they'll get scratched and stop working. But Nintendo games are pretty hardy.
So is games your specialty, or what else do you sell?
I do mostly. I do a lot of sporting goods. I'm in Austin, so we're kind of sporting goods. I sell what's available. So I do a lot of sporting goods. Do a lot of electronics, just in general. Be that speakers or DVD players or Walkmans, headphones, whatever. And then we do a lot of household items. I always say we make a lot of boring money. So we do a lot of Keurigs. We do a lot of strollers. If you ever check out my videos, you see, like, we'll do strollers. There's ridiculous. People don't realize it's not out of the question to go for you to retail spend $500-$600 on a jogging stroller. It's so resale on those is $200 and $300. Resale is fantastic on those. So pretty cool. Good thing to look out for the Bob jogging strollers. They're the double ones where it's for two kids. The money is just insane. But yeah, try to make a lot of boring money. We do a lot with Craigslist of our business. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, how's it going, buddy?
Good. Sorry about that, guys. What's up, Brock? Long
What's
time.
up, man? Thanks for inviting me.
And a lot of good info, man.
I was bragging about you the other day, so you and Jameson.
Yeah, Jameson's on a whole nother level. Jameson's been doing this for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah. Yeah, Jameson's good.
He's awesome. So.
But,
Yeah, we like I said, we were talking about the pawn shops the other night, and I think Mike, you were talking about power tools and stuff like that too. That's I mean, those are good finds at pawn shops.
yeah, I was saying I found a couple, some tools and stuff at pawn shops. Mostly because of Brock and Jameson, I go dig deep for the games because there you can wheel and deal, unlike the thrift stores. So, I mean, you're seeing some of my those Guitar Hero guitars and Nintendo games I've shown you guys. I mean, I've learned all that from Brock and pretty much Brock and Jameson, So don't, totally try to hit up those pawn shops. There's some good margins, definitely.
So you're going to pawn shops and scanning? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, once you know what sells, you can pretty much know pretty much all Mario stuff's gonna sell pretty much, or like Zelda or something like that. That's gonna sell, so you can just pick that up and pretty good bet you're gonna get it for pretty cheap, and you're gonna make 100% ROI for sure on especially Zelda. So
Definitely.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out, man.
yeah.
That's 37, I want to say. FBA right now. Mike Tyson's Punch Out is something crazy.
Used?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, new. It's like over $100 new, something like that.
Easily, yeah. Anytime, if you can find any old Nintendo game that's still brand new, is gonna probably be worth $100. It's just they're so beyond rare. I have only found a handful of games like that still had the boxes, and I have yet to find any original Nintendo or Super Nintendo game brand new.
Huh.
Man, I found a game that was brand new. I still kick myself for not getting it because the length was like $1 million. But do you remember that old school game, head-to-head football?
Yes.
Remember that magnetic? Yeah, I found 2 of those in a Goodwill, brand new.
That's the other thing. I'm assuming most everybody here, because I know y'all's group was Amazon FBA, so I'm assuming most everybody is mostly FBA. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's like under 10,000 is the rank that I try to shoot for with video games. But when you get something like brand new sealed, you can just throw the rank out the window. There's not gonna be rank if the only people that are selling are brand new. Then for video games, they just throw the rank out the window. Go look on eBay. Look at the sold listings on eBay. That'll give you a better idea of value. Because some of these games, they could have horrible rank, but if you've got it brand new, then it's a whole other story. Yeah, they're worth crazy money.
Just remind people, you're talking to a lot of new people. Video games are the smallest category on Amazon.
Okay. I wasn't sure on the. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it is.
It's the smallest category.
Tiny. So, yeah, I mean, I've sold stuff with sales rank of 1, 40, stuff like that. Like, that's the stuff in the couple hundred range, up to 800-900. That's the stuff that's selling really, really fast. But yeah, video games are tiny. Yep. Sorry, I wasn't quite sure on who was listening.
Do you have to be approved?
No, it's a free for all.
But you said there are restrictions on some of them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, be careful. Your Amazon sellers and your I guess Profit Bandit wouldn't tell you, but Amazon Seller app should pop up. It's
It
mostly gonna
does.
be
It always does. Usually restricted stuff
okay. Cool.
on the regular Amazon app.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. The Game Boy games will come up and it'll say real big restricted. And like I was saying, that's the Pokemon Game Boy, so that's your little bitty games. But those are just because they got counterfeited like crazy. So. But your app will give you a warning.
How can you tell if a game is counterfeit? Was that?
I just called Jameson. There's no point. I mean, seriously, this guy's been doing this for 10 years. And I've been very blessed. Had a lot of people, took me under the wing and showed me, and I've learned in trial and error. And I tell you what, if you want to learn to buy and sell some video games on Craigslist. It will be the most ridiculous experience of your life. Like every crazy, ridiculous story from Craigslist is about video games. So meet them at the police station. If you're gonna do it, be safe. But it'll teach you how to buy and sell though, selling video games on Craigslist. So it gets crazy. But when in doubt, call Jameson. That's still what I do for like fake stuff. When I call him, like I don't know, because he'll know there'll be like some little obscure marking on the game like. That'll tell you if it's real or not. So.
Yeah, I've actually bought some VHS lots off of people off of Craigslist. Like, I think this one guy sold me like 55 VHS. Like, most of them were Disney too, and like we met up, bought them all for $10, and that stuff. I mean, it's so quick. A lot of them was only 80 cents here, 80 cents there, but I spent $10 and probably made $45.
Yeah, that can go quick. Yeah, you can get some crazy deals like that on Craigslist. Craigslist here, it's almost impossible for me to actually score and buy off Craigslist because it just goes so fast. But just to give you an example, like I put PlayStation 2 up yesterday for $30, and then I put a bunch of they were worthless original Nintendo games up for $20, and they both sold within 24 hours. I mean, on Craigslist, guys picked them up, like guys killing themselves to get over here and get this $30 PlayStation. And I do that because it's actually more cash in my pocket to sell that console on Craigslist for $30 than to sell it on FBA for $50.
Do you find that any of your sales come from people that are looking to flip it, or they're actually like the people that use the stuff?
Probably both. A lot of times, if you start selling if you sell 10, 15, 20 games, it's probably going to be somebody that's going to keep half, sell half, something like that. That's pretty common. And that's going to be true across any collector on Craigslist. If you sell a bunch of model trains, which I just did a video on that, sell a bunch of model trains parts, he's probably going to keep part of it and then sell enough to get his money back so that when his wife asks him how much did you spend on that, he's going to say, well, basically $0 because I got my money back.
Your videos are on YouTube?
Yeah, the Orange Elephant 523. That's us.
Okay. I'm not familiar with it, so I don't mean to sound naive.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm not a mega channel by any shame.
Oh, come on. Yeah, you are, dude. Everyone knows about you.
You got some good haul videos or what?
Yeah, we do. The two people that are supposed to be sleeping right now, I have two boys, and then my wife is expecting our third in January. So we do a lot of videos of us garage sailing and thrifting and haul videos, pickup videos, do a lot of video games. I do some pretty cool undercover Craigslist videos. So where I've got spy cam footage from doing Craigslist deals. Those are always fun. So.
Oh, sweet. I mean, I see so many people from Austin going and doing the same thing. It's I see Bonafide has a bunch of videos, of him going garage selling. I'm like, man, you guys must have it all over the place,
It's ridiculous. On a Saturday in Austin, there'll be 400 garage sales.
Yeah.
Bonafide and I go I'll see him once a month, once every other month, something like that. And there's a couple guys that I recognize, I'll just kind of say hi to real quick. Other guys buying and selling. A lot of the flea market guys are out early on Saturdays buying a bunch of stuff to sell it on Sunday. They buy all weird used mattresses and weird stuff. A lot of those guys. So I like when they're buying a bunch of stuff I don't care about. So.
Yeah. that's just, I mean, I know Dallas has a lot too, but it's like it's more spread out, you know.
Yeah, well, even like it is pretty spread out. It doesn't seem like that in our videos because like we kind of all like focus on kind of the middle of Austin, where that's where all our thrift shops are. So you see us like we overlap a lot, but there's a lot of stuff. We got pawn shops like crazy here, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to take a trip to the pawn shop, man. I mean, yeah, you can haggle with them. That's stuff that a lot of people don't think about. They just think about, hey, let me go to the store and just scan and see what we can find, and not even thinking about that or Trader's Village and stuff like that.
Chris, where were you? I was watching the Periscope the other day. Where were you at? Where you had all that clearance stuff at Walmart?
Yeah, Walmart. I was what do you mean? Where was that? Like what city?
You were with your niece?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where
I was
was that?
out.
What city?
It's in Terrell. It's east. It's like east North Texas.
Because wow,
I mean, it's not a big city.
I don't have a clearance section like that in my Walmart at all. You're lucky if you can find anything on clearance.
I mean, but see, that store is like, it's usually really horrible. Like they barely have clearance, but I guess they're trying to blow everything out. So,
actually,
I mean,
the only thing I do see on clearance is video games mostly at the Walmarts that I go to.
Yeah.
It's the same here. Yeah, my clearance section in Walmart is for them to change the tag from yellow to red. I'm pretty sure that's all they've done.
Is that because you buy them all?
No, I would love to go in and just clean out a section of Walmart. But yeah, we don't get much in the way of clearance here. And I was gonna say, like, one thing to specifically for FBA, if you're gonna go into Walmart and buy 30, 40, 50 units, don't be afraid to, number one, be tax exempt, and number two, talk to the manager and see if they'll do 5, 10, 15% off since you're buying everything for them. That's definitely a real possibility.
So, hey man, tax exempt, sorry to interrupt you, bro. What do, man? You just take your vendor's license or whatever to Walmart with you? That's it?
Customer service. Just go to the customer service. And they'll usually have you fill out a form.
Yeah, they fill out a form. Make sure you check all the bubbles that they have, so you're tax exempt on all the categories that they got, and then they'll give you a card. And then when you go check out, you just make sure you give them your card first before you check out. If you got a bunch of stuff, then it has to be entered before. So yeah, they'll give you a small little card and it says resale or whatever it is with your number on it.
Awesome. All right, thanks, fellas.
Yeah.
So, hey, Brock, do you, as far as getting video games and stuff, do you go, like, on those apps, because I get a lot of my old video games from OfferUp or 5 Mile, stuff like that, those little apps, and Craigslist, obviously, but do you do any of that also?
I don't, because honestly, anything that is, like, if you call, like, most people buying and selling video games consider the eBay price to be market value. So, like, GoldenEye, go back to GoldenEye, that's worth, I think, 15 to 20 bucks on eBay. But it's worth, like, 25, 26 on FBA. But, so, for me to get something like 25, sell it for 25 on FBA, I'm going to want to pay about 8 bucks for it. If somebody puts up GoldenEye on Craigslist for 8 bucks, it's going to be gone in 15 seconds. He's going to have 150 emails. Like, the competition here for video games on Craigslist, OfferUp, any of those is just insane. Because you're competing against guys who all they want is just a little bit below eBay value, whereas I need to get it at, a third of FBA value. So it's tough. Like, thankfully, that's the nice part. The garage sales and pawn shops, nobody can be everywhere, so that's where I can get some good stuff.
Where do you sell most of your video games? On Amazon or eBay or Craigslist?
FBA. Yep. Through Amazon, through the FBA. That's where the money is. Oh my gosh, yeah. The only exception that if you get like an old Nintendo game that's still got the box, that's going to be probably worth more on eBay. Okay. So, but yeah, Amazon and the games, they sell fast and they sell really well.
I have a question, Brock. I was talking to Mike about this a couple of weeks ago. I have Mike, what is the name of that guitar I have with the game?
The Guitar Hero was a Guitar Hero to Les Paul. I think she had the Les Paul Guitar Hero for, I think it was PlayStation 2 or 3, something like that. Yeah, I think. Did you ever send that in?
No, because I didn't know what to do. So I still have both of them.
Yeah, I believe she had the dongle. She had everything with it, so it was pretty much complete.
Okay. Yeah, just to catch everybody else up, if she's asking, she has the Guitar Hero guitar, which it's a guitar, and then it has a little dongle, which is a little black piece that connects the system, and that's how the guitar and the PlayStation talk to each other. Those do have a tendency to not work. Those dongles, they stop talking. The dongle and the guitar won't talk to each other. They won't connect. So definitely, you gotta find somebody with a PlayStation, or you need to have a PlayStation, because you'll need to connect them, and then basically you'll need the game as well to go through and play a song and make sure the guitar works.
Yeah, I have the game. I have the game with it.
Okay. Do you have a console? Do you have a PlayStation to test it on?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Best bet. That's definitely something. Don't risk sending that in untested. Find somebody, if you have somebody that lives close, you get a friend or somebody, test it on that, and then you'll just saran wrap everything together, mark it, this is a set, do not separate, and then send it into FBA. And if it's PlayStation 3, it's worth like $100 on up. I mean, PlayStation 2 is not going to be worth anywhere near as much, but PlayStation 3 Guitar Heroes are worth a lot of money.
Okay.
I did a resale wake-up show a lot during the week, and the guy on there is Resale Ronin. He's got a video on YouTube about how to test Guitar Hero guitars with your computer. You might want to watch it. His name is Resale Ronin is his name.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Really good. I did not know that.
Yeah, he put a whole video together. I watched him as he was videoing it about how to test all these guitars using just your computer.
Awesome. Okay.
Can you do that with any type of videos, or just that particular one?
It's most of them. He said he covered most of them when he did it.
Does he charge you for it?
No, it's free. It's on YouTube. His name is Resale Ronin.
Okay.
And Derek is putting in the comments, if you go to EB Games, they can test it for you. Yeah, I've had the GameStop employees are not big fans of mine because I buy and sell video games. I'm competition, so they won't test anything for me. But
you got to wear a disguise when you go in there, huh?
Yeah, I thought about it. It's one of those things you just kind of got to like laugh and move on with life.
Yeah.
Figure,
Brock, can you see this?
Yeah, I see it. Yep, that's a PlayStation 2.
Yeah, PlayStation 2.
Yep.
And this is the other one. There's also a PlayStation 2.
Yep, that's the PlayStation 2. And if there's a little piece with a plug-in, probably somewhere, hopefully, a little plug-in piece that has like a little USB port to it.
Yeah, I think it's like triangle, right? The triangle.
That one's old enough.
It might be square.
It might be the red square. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, is that it? No.
How is Toys R Us for sourcing for video games?
That's the only piece that has to plug in.
I've never. Sorry, you broke up. What'd you say?
Good.
She's breaking up.
It doesn't have the piece that you guys are talking about.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard my question, Brock. How is Toys R Us for sourcing video games?
I've never had any luck. I don't do a ton of retail arbitrage, truthfully. Only retail arbitrage. If I get occasionally, I'll get a message from somebody like, "Hey, Toys R Us just did this," or something. It'll be some toy. Normally, it'll be like a exclusive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toy. That's about the only reason I'm going to go in there.
Oh, you had that video. Was that you? Yeah, but where you guys got those Ninja Turtle things for like $10, and we're reselling them for like what, $100 or something like that?
Yeah.
That was crazy. Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. That's a
Yeah.
huge product.
There was what he's talking about, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Layers, which is this huge toy. Target accidentally priced them 15 instead of 100. So we bought. They only had like 4 of them, so we just took all of them, and then unfortunately, like every single one that I got the box had been just beat up. So I ended up flipping them all on Craigslist for like 60, 70 a piece. But I mean, still the margin was huge when retail's $100. I wish if they'd been brand new around Christmas time, they soared to like 130 or 150. It was something ridiculous. So, but it was awesome to spend 15 and sell them instantly for 16, 70. I was pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean, plus you save those FBA fees. I mean, that probably would have been $15, $20 too, you know?
Yeah, and it was oversized and it was heavy. I forget, I think it was like 10 pounds or something. Like, you know, sometimes Amazon, it'll be like a 5-pound item, but they'll say it's 10 pounds. I wasn't really sure. But yeah, it would have been a ton to ship it in, and we flipped it fast and moved on to the next thing, so we were happy. My kid kept one, of course.
Probably could have flipped it in the parking lot.
Just about. Those things were hot. It was awesome. So.
Man, I'm definitely. I know tonight when I get off this hangout, man, I'm gonna definitely check out Craigslist and look at some video games and see what people are wanting.
Yeah, it seems to be all over it because like Mike will find stuff, and I know Torin, who's another guy that I've talked to, he's found great stuff on like Facebook trading posts and Craigslist. I find it, but I mean, if it's up there for 20 minutes, it's already gone. Because on Craigslist, you can set up to get alerts on your phone. So plenty of guys in the area have alerts going like for when Zelda, or this Zelda game, or this Mario, or this Nintendo comes up. That's why it works for when you're selling. That's why I can move a PlayStation 2 and a bunch of worthless Nintendo games in 24 hours. But if we're trying to buy it, it's almost impossible.
Do any of the sporting video games sell as well, or is that more seasonal?
It's no, it's not really seasonal. Mostly what you're doing with like Madden, the football game, they come out with a new one every single year. So it's one of those things like when 2011 is the newest one, it's worth money, but then 2012 comes out and it makes Madden 11 almost worthless.
I guess the wrestling would be in that same category then.
Not if it was new. It's not really seasonal. Mostly what you're doing with like Madden every single year. So it's one of those things like
Here.
11 is the yeah, but you're gonna scan like 150 games, and then you'll find like one gem, and then you'll start all over again.
Man, I was just gonna say really fast. For some reason, I'm on my tablet. I'm trying to talk in the chat. It's not letting me, but I'm not ignoring anybody in the chat. And we got Danica in there. Hey, how's it going? Adam, Alabama Pickers. Derek, he was in there. We got Country Girl. So I just want to say hi to you guys. I do see it. For some reason, it's not letting me type in there. So just want to say hi. But and if you guys have any questions for him too about video games and stuff,
yeah,
go ahead and ask.
With the sports video games, it's only certain ones have value, like the last NCAA football game, like NBA Live, like '97. That's a very valuable one, and it's like NBA Live 2000, I think it's 3 or something like that.
Yep. And yeah, what he's talking about, that's probably the last one that was made for that series. Like that was the end of the NBA Live series. I mean, am I correct?
It was the last one made. It's not the last of the NBA Live, but it's the last of the NCAA. The Live, it's the last one that they made that had like certain things in it that a lot of people like.
Okay. Yeah. So Yeah, what? Yeah, exactly. He's right on. When they stop something, that's when that game can be valuable. But the other 99% of them are worth a penny plus shipping.
So I would guess if did they even make Michael Jordan video games, or is that too far back?
Hey, I'm a garage seller. I still find
Okay.
Michael Jordan
I
stuff.
gotta think that's gotta be worth something.
Remember, didn't they have like a Magic Johnson and Larry Bird video game?
Yes, on the original Nintendo, I believe.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
say at least Larry Bird.
yeah. I think they did have that. And they had another game I think called Street Hoops. You guys remember that game?
Don't remember that game. I remember. I forget the title. I just sold it. FBA. It was a Super Nintendo basketball game, and when you get like 2-3 shots in a row, and the basketball would turn on fire.
Oh, NBA Jam.
That's yeah. It was good
Yeah,
stuff. It's so quick. It was like $15-$20 game. Just quick sell.
yeah. I've got it. I actually have that game on PlayStation 3. I love that game.
#1 in the world right here, baby. Last year's game for Xbox on that game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Love it, man.
I guess this is one of my last questions I got for you, man. Like, so say I'm looking on Craigslist. Do you kind of look at it like the same way you would look if you're doing online arbitrage? Like, would you? I mean, how would you find out the worth of these things? Just open up an Amazon window or what?
Yeah, and that's really going to be how you're going to learn. The two best ways. It's great to go on Craigslist because, especially if the seller's doing a good job, like they took pictures of the spine. Yeah, you can go over to Amazon, or you can go to Amazon on your phone, and you can go through and look up all of the titles, look up every single one, because you're going to run into that oddball sports game that's all of a sudden worth $40, or you're going to run into this game that you think it looks stupid and it's worth money. Games are kind of weird like that. There's some games, like if the game was underproduced, or like Conker's Bad Fur Day is a Nintendo 64 game, it's worth like, it'll hover in the vicinity of $80. Well, it's because it's valuable because it's horribly inappropriate game, so nobody wanted their kids playing it, so they didn't make enough. So now, fast forward 10 years, mom can't tell them no, so everybody wants to have this inappropriate game. So that's why the thing's worth money, is it was underproduced. So you can run into stuff like that. But yeah, definitely go on your phone, go on Amazon, and start looking through games because, like Mike was saying earlier, once you know what you're looking for, you know what you're looking for. So today at the pawn shop, I looked up just a handful of games, some obscure titles. They were PlayStation Portable, the PSP. There's some just kind of obscure titles I looked up, but most of the others I was just kind of zooming through because you're going to see the same titles over and over and over again. So once you get your Marios, your Zeldas, your Mega Mans, stuff like that down, and then you start looking for the anime titles, and you start getting that in your memory, then you're going to be able to go through and go through a bunch of games really quickly.
So you're saying you should have your own niche market for this kind of stuff?
Do what?
Would you say you should have your own like little niche market for these games?
Like of ones that you sell over and over, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the way. Unless, kind of garage selling is kind of a little bit different because a lot of times you can get that cheap enough that it doesn't matter. Because sometimes if I get like a console plus a bunch of games that aren't really worth money, they're still worth money on Craigslist. It's kind of funny. Like a game that I could sell for a penny on Amazon, if I put 10, 15 of those together, I can get $20-$30 on Craigslist. Because you got to remember, for a person who wants that game that's only a penny game, he has to go and spend $4, to get it to his door. So, if you can put 20 games in front of him for $20, yeah, that's a good deal for both of you because you're not selling games for a penny and he's getting a bunch of games. But yeah, like garage sales, it's a little bit different because you want to, hopefully you're getting it crazy cheap. But yeah, for the pawn shops, I'm flipping the same games over and over and over and over again.
I have a question. So when you go out garage selling, and how do you know which garage sales have the games that are do you plan out your garage sale route before the night before, and how do you know which ones have the games? That,
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I use Craigslist and then I use MapQuest as well because Austin is crazy. It's long, it's stretched out. So what I'll do, I have about 15, 20 keywords that I go through. So I go to the garage sale section of Craigslist. So I'll type in like one of my keywords is Keurig because we sell a lot of Keurigs. So I'll type in Keurig and then I'll see like, okay, this garage sale, it has a Keurig for sale. So I'll write down that address and then I'll go through the rest of my keywords, which Nintendo, Super Nintendo, NES, N64, Game Boy, Game Boys, video game, video games, which you need to do video game and video games both to make sure that, because otherwise Craigslist is not going to realize what you're searching for. Game Boy, Game Boys, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, like all the different variations of ways that people could put video games in, and then all the other keywords. So I write those all down on a list, put them in a MapQuest, and that's how I plan out most of the route, and then I do yard sale treasure map in between.
Wow, when's your book coming out?
Hey, I'll stick with YouTube. Easier.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, you do. So I get, maybe what I try to get is like a good 10, 15 garage sales that have items I know I'm interested in, and then I'll yard sale treasure map the space in between those. I try not to be driving for more than 10 minutes, and that's normally pretty doable in Austin. 10 minutes between garage sales. But as far as like knowing, there's a couple different clues. You start looking. I tell people to look for if this, then that. Normally, people that have, if you get to the garage sale and there's some sleepy teenager there, there's a good chance there's video games if it's a guy. If you see some 25-year-old that's still living with his mom, there's almost definitely video games there. So there's a lot of things like you start looking for it and you're laughing because you know it's true. And but yeah, start looking at all your cues whenever you look up, what kind of cars are in the driveway. If you see skateboards, bikes, if you see motors like dirt bikes, who's out at the garage sale. Like there's nothing better. One of my best scores of like a month ago, it was the kid had left. He was like 25. She got tired of him having video games, and she put a quarter on all his video games. Put him out in a box, and I was like, "Hey, I'll give you $10 for this whole box." And she's like, "Sold." She didn't look at it, and she's like, "Wait, I got more for you." And then went in the back and got me more games. So like that's a dream right there. Like the first game off the top was Mario Party, and that's a Amazon $40. Like it was a no-brainer.
So try to find someone that just threw their son out of the house.
Exactly. Or his friends. Yep, exactly. So yeah, start looking like if you've got Legos, if you've got teenage boys. One thing like the younger kids, like younger boys, especially like early teens, a lot of times like people like if you say like I always ask people at the garage sales, hey, do y'all have any video games? It doesn't matter, old, young, doesn't matter. Like I've gotten grandmas have given me good deals on games because the kids left them there or whatever. A lot of times like I'll ask the mom because a lot of times the mom's in charge of say like, hey, do you guys have any video games? And she'll say no, but I always kind of say it loud enough that the kids can hear me because it's pretty funny because kids have taken stuff to GameStop. If you take games to GameStop, they give you like 10 cents in-store credit. They give you such a minuscule amount of money. It's ridiculous. But it works well for me because those kids are like, wait, Mom, hang on, let me go get some games. And they'll get like DS games. And it's so funny. Like kids will come out with a Nintendo DS, which is like a Game Boy. And the mom will say like, oh, I didn't realize that was video games. It happens all the time. Or they'll bring out a Super Nintendo and she'll and people, oh, I didn't realize that was video games. Like, I'm not sure what the disconnect is, but I think when people see video games, they think of like arcades or like brand new stuff. They don't realize you want the old stuff. So it's kind of funny. Like definitely, always ask, but look for the teenage boys and then early 20s boys.
How about around when school starts, especially like people going to college?
Yeah.
Isn't that a good time to try to find stuff like that?
Yes, one of the best lots I didn't get was I opened up. The kid had gone to college, and we opened up this Foot Locker, and it was I don't even know. $500-600 worth of games sitting there.
Do you have
It
like
was
a
like-
poker face on when you do this, or you just can't control yourself?
It depends. Sometimes you can't control yourself. Like you're opening like, oh, pile of crap. Oh, crap. Oh, $600. And like I about to stroke. I opened up all the cases. This freaking kid had taken all the games and put them in like one of those like CD holder things and taken them to college. So it was all empty cases. Every single one of them.
So he was teasing with you.
Oh my gosh, it was so horrible. Like I just was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Mm.
It was so like it was every Zelda, every this, every that. Like if I was gonna do a list of like valuable GameCube games, this kid like I could have just done it out of his
So I guess you could say it was safe to say you were punked.
Pretty much. Like I was looking for the cameras. It was so bad, but it was this huge like army footlocker of games. I was like, every single one is empty cases. Really, you couldn't throw me a bone here, kid. So, but
You gotta take the good with the bad.
Yep. But then like one of the things I think what Mike was hinting at is I pulled up in the ad. I saw that they had like sneakers and graffiti art and adult DVDs. I'm not buying that crap. But those are all cues that they're gonna have video games. Is that what you were hinting at, Mike? Because I think I've said that before on Hangouts.
Yeah.
I thought so. Yep, that's it. Yeah, pretty consistently. I don't know what kind of person advertises adult DVDs on Craigslist for their garage sale, but they consistently have video games. So, whatever. JY Nike just said, yeah, Goodwill.com always has games up for auctions. They're normally untested as is, and here for me, I've never been able to get. There's another reseller that she consistently buys those lots, cleans them, and then sells them at her garage sale and then she has a couple others. She turns around and wholesales them to another reseller. So that's where most of our games go.
I bought some action figures off of Goodwill's auction page. I mean, I got them for a good price too. It's just the shipping that they add on there is so much.
That's what I was just getting ready to ask. Did they charge you like $27 to ship it or something?
Yeah, like I got these WWE action figures from like they were like from like 2002 or something. But I got both of them for $12 like total. But the shipping on it was $17. You know.
That's yeah.
I mean, I still. They still came to me, and I still sold them for $24 a piece. So I still made my money back, but, I mean, that shipping killed me.
Yeah, it went from an awesome deal to, like, ugh.
Yeah, I was pretty mad, like, after I won it, and I looked at the shipping, I was like, oh, my God, you know?
Yeah, and I've tried to do, like, local pickup or something. I don't think here they'll let you do local pickup, because they probably make a ton of money off shipping. They don't have to worry about bad feedback from buyers like we do on eBay. You know, could you imagine charging $17 to ship something on eBay? Like, something less, that was probably a pound.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to make money. They're not dumb.
Yeah, that's the only auction I ever bought from them after that. But, I mean, I almost bought another one, but someone beat me to it. But it was like the band Tool is one of the box sets that was like, I think there was a mess up on it. So it's like worth a lot of money. And yeah, somebody swooped in and got it for me, but I think the shipping on that was like $15 too. But anyways, man, hour's up. Man, I enjoyed the chat tonight, man. A lot of knowledge on his pawn shops and video games, man. I even wore my video game T-shirt.
Way to be, man. Yeah, there you go.
But you guys, if you're not already a part of our Facebook group, Amazon FBA Motivators, please join it. And I'm starting to get more into Periscopes, so you can
Actually,
follow
I
me.
think John has the best shirt on.
John
Yes.
has a good shirt on too.
I like his shirt. He didn't answer me in the chat when I said that to him. Though. I guess I need to send you a stimulant, John.
Anyway, you guys can follow me on Periscope, Chris Piles FBA. Brock, what's your YouTube channel again? Orange Elephant.
Yep, the Orange Elephant 523. If you type in, I'm the only orange elephant on there, so you'll see me.
Anybody else want to plug anything?
Any last questions? I don't want to leave anybody hanging.
Yeah. Any last questions in chat?
What video would you suggest we start watching with yours, Brock?
Oh, that's good.
I would tell you.
Start from the beginning and work your way. Work your way down.
How many of them are there?
I think we're up to like 130, something like that. Wow. So, okay. I would actually say the guy. I would go right to the source. I would say check out College Picker. Would be who I would tell you to check out for video games. That guy does a ton of video games. Check out the College Picker. He's got a bunch of games and where he talks about different stuff. And then probably the most beneficial, especially if you're wanting the video games. Like whenever you'll see like garage sale ride-alongs, like those are the good ones. We do a lot with the channel. It's a little bit more. I've always tried to stay diverse. I didn't want to get like.
You actually do ride-alongs?
Yeah, some. Mostly it's gonna be like when my wife and boys are with me, so one of us can drive and film, one of us can film. So we'll do some thrift store. Those are good because then you can get a variety. So we'll do some other stuff like just strictly family fun stuff, like we'll go hiking, we'll make videos. But yeah, the garage sale ride-alongs, and then I haven't been super consistent with it, but the Brock Park show, I've only done about 5 episodes, but that's just it feels a lot like this. Talk about just different things that have happened in the last 2-3 weeks. I do eBay, Amazon, Craigslist. This is what I do for a living. So that's me just kind of recapping the last couple weeks, talking about different things, different customer service. Goofy things like on Craigslist, like today, this kid shows up for this PlayStation 2, and rather than ringing the doorbell, he sat outside my house for 15 minutes, like I was gonna magically know he was there. Like, he's not old enough to vote, thank God, because this kid was like, he sent me an email. That was the best part. He sent me an email to let me know that he was outside my house and I didn't come out.
Don't worry, Donald Trump's got the money to get him.
We're gonna have to do a Kickstarter for this kid. I don't know what. But I mean, you just like Craigslist. Like I'm telling you, if you're new to buying and selling, just buy something and sell something on Craigslist, and all of a sudden,
I have to check to see. It's been so long since I've even used Craigslist. I was just looking up my username and password if it's still valid. But you came up with some very good suggestions. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Don't be afraid to ask me questions. You know, there's about a half a dozen YouTubers. To definitely like the Bonafide Hustler. I talked him into going out to coffee with me, and when I just got started, and we sat down, and I asked him questions straight for an hour. I didn't stop talking. I didn't drink coffee. I didn't breathe for an hour, and I just asked him nonstop questions. So, and you know, it worked out. We're still friends. So, but don't be afraid to hit me up with questions. Video games are kind of intimidating for people, but seriously, like once you learn it, there's so many games out there. That's what's ridiculous, and they can sell so fast. And what's nice is like gold buyers. Whenever you see like guys out buying gold, which I'm sure if you go garage sale and you see it, like the guys with the little loop and everything, they know what they're gonna sell it for before they buy it. And video games are the same way. Like every time I sell GoldenEye, I know what it sells for. Every time I sell Mario for this, I know what it sells for. You know, that's the big advantage. You're not playing the numbers in the hopeful game.
Those are the home run items.
Yeah, those are your home run items that you can get $50 for Zelda and you're getting in for $5. And it's not something like. I do meet guys that try to do just video games. I think that's a little crazy. I think it's just but I think it's a really solid, tool to have in your toolkit to be able to just walk in like, oh, there's 100 games on the table and there's 2 of them that are valuable. Don't get bogged down in the other 98. So, but yeah, definitely, hit me up. Facebook, The Orange Elephant 523, and YouTube, The Orange Elephant 523. So. But other than that, yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, if you guys think of me, don't be afraid to hit me up. But yeah, I'm a nighttime lister, so I'll get started here in about an hour, getting started listing. So
Yeah, me too. I got some stuff to list too. So, you guys, we're gonna keep the hangout open. We're gonna shut off the live stream, but if you guys want to come into the chat and hang out and talk to us afterwards, just pop in, let's chat and have a good time. But thanks for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and end this broadcast.
I've already got an hour's